For those of us watching the news, there's been a lot of news about visas, about H1-B and OPT, optional practical training, and F1 visas from the US government. And these news items have been pretty dramatic. One key announcement that came out from the Trump administration was around filing of the new H1 visas. Which kind of led to a lot of hue and cry and a lot of clarifications that came out from the White House and the administration later on. The key message here is that every new H1 visa that's going to be filed from next fiscal year will have to include a fee of $100,000 per year, which means for a 4 or 5 year H1 visa, it's almost $500,000 in fees that has to be paid to the US government. Now, the impact on the American workforce is going to be clear. And likewise, the impact on companies that are planning to sponsor international workers for work in America using the H1 program. Now, the side effect or the consequence of this is on a large group of people that are not being spoken about, on international students. Let me tell you why. International students, there are more than 1 million students from India alone studying in universities across America. And most, if not almost all the international students aspire for one key goal. That is, go to America and eventually finish their studies, apply for an OPT, optional practical training, and eventually get an H1 visa. And subsequently the company files for a green card, eventually have a green card in a number of years. And that is a long game that the students play. Now, if you look at it from a purely ROI, return on investment perspective, the ROI is simple. You invest about 50 to 60 to 80 lakhs, that is about $100,000 in investment for a higher studies. That is including your cost of transportation, and the fees for a couple of years at the university, and the cost of living, more than $100,000. Now, the hope is that once you finish that, especially if you are a STEM major, science, technology, engineering major, you get an OPT for 3 years, optional practical training, which allows you to live and work in America for 3 years after you finish your course. Which means in that 3 years you work for a major tech company or a multinational. You get paid well and you can recoup that money, that investment in loans. And eventually the company files for a green card or an H1 work visa, all the more better, because then you can continue your American dream. If not, the equation is balanced, you're not lost much, and you come back to your home country. But now, all of a sudden, the screws are being tightened. One was this announcement about the H1 visa, saying that moving forward, all H1 will include this fine or fee of $100,000, which means companies will think twice before filing for H1 for all and sundry. They'll be highly selective. Is that candidate really worth $100,000 more than the salary or the package that you're going to offer to the candidate? And likewise, the rules and regulations around OPT are being tightened as we speak. Just this week, there was an announcement that the number of businesses and business enterprises and organizations are being raided by ICE, Immigration and Customs Services, for flouting OPT rules. And they are rounding up candidates or former students who are flouting the OPT rules. Now, this is sending shockwaves all through. So what does this mean if you are a student? And I've been mentoring a number of graduates and students who plan to go to America to study. You need to go with your eyes wide open, which means, can you invest the 50, 80, 100,000 dollars right up front, or 50 lakhs, 80 lakh rupees right up front, and forget about that money as an investment? Or do you plan to or hope to eventually get a job in America? The second part of it, plan to or hope to get a job, is going to get much tougher. So if you're going to study in America, make sure you have the funds and make sure you can invest that funds, get the best education possible if that is your goal, and come back to your home country. Don't think about the American dream, because that's not going to be around for everybody. That is changing as we speak. So it's a long game that students play, and in the long game you need to definitely factor this in, and this is something